Hey, welcome to Webcomic Story Builder, where I go through webtoons and webcomics and occasionally give storytelling tips and tricks catered towards webcomic creators. So I haven't posted a video in so long. I didn't expect that it would be this long. I think my last video was about 4 months ago, I want to say. And for those past few months, I have been working on a life simulation game. So I am very excited to announce this. And it's a mix between Bit Life and Villains Deserve to Die. So I'm not sure if you know that webcomic. It's on Tapas, and it's basically about a villainess and her road towards avoiding death. So this is a villainess life simulation game where you play as a villainess destined to die, and you're, well, that sounds a bit dark, but a villainess destined to die, destined for a very sad ending, and your actions change her fate. So you live how you want. You can be as cruel or as kind as you wish. You can lie, you can cheat, or you can climb the social ranks of nobility and maybe even rule the kingdom. So the game is all about you strategically reaching your goal and avoiding death. So those are not all the features are there yet. And the game is in really early development. So it's still a baby. It's still a baby game. There's a lot that I still need to work on to smooth it out. Features I need to add. And it has been a bit of a slow process. I've never really made a game before. This is a new thing for me. So it has been taking a bit of a while. But I'm really happy with how it's looking. I can't believe that I actually got it this far. There were a lot of issues along the way, and I'd really appreciate if you could maybe test it out and send over your feedback. So every comment helps me to make the game as fun as it can be, and regardless if it's a negative or positive comment, it all helps. It helps to improve the game and figure out any bugs or things that could be improved, because working on the game for so long, there's stuff I just don't notice, and other people's perspective really helps. So check out the links in the description so you can join me on this game dev adventure. Currently, I only have it available for Android because I don't have an iPhone, but there is a link for access to the browser version. So you can play online on the browser, so like Chrome or Bing or whatever you use. So there is a version. There are versions available for either Android users or non-Android users, iPhone users. So now back to the video. Creating things is exciting. Like many others, I enjoy art, writing, acting, and generally expressing myself. Also, what's fun is sharing the things we create. However, we never know how it will be received by others. In my opinion, there is no such thing as a masterpiece. Only things lots of people like and things very few people like. Interestingly, what the majority likes changes very frequently. Way back when, like the 1800s or so, a certain art style was very popular. It was all about realism, religion, and accuracy. It was a style that was almost like a mirror, reflecting our world. Many artists strived to achieve this perfection and reach the top of the art chain. Then things changed. A new, bolder style was emerging, and paintings that were once popular was seen as old-fashioned and boring. I felt sorry for the artists who dedicated everything to mastering the old style, because all it took was a trend for all that effort and love to go out the window. It's happened before and it continues to happen to this day. We can't predict how our creations will be perceived. The problem with creativity is that it brings uncertain results. Yes, there's this great possibility for great things to happen, but that opportunity doesn't come to everyone who wants it. It doesn't come to everyone who is creative or who does creative things. Only those few who are lucky enough. So you may be a creative who puts all their effort into something and only see a few hundred or a few tens of likes or whatever it is, or interested people, and someone else who puts in the same amount of effort sees 10, 20, 30 times more than what you see. Even if it's been decades or centuries or longer, that uncertainty is forever present. So someone could gain 100,000 people who enjoy their work. And then in a few years or a few centuries, suddenly the number of people who enjoy their work decreases drastically because of that everlasting uncertainty. But there's an upside. There's a book I'm reading called The Black Swan, and a particular chapter caught my attention. Certain industries are opportunities for unexpected good things to happen. The reasons being it's not certain how a project will end up. These industries are exposed to black swans, or white swans, as the book calls them. These industries are even shinier when you have very little to lose. For example, when it comes to writing a novel or a web novel, creating a webtoon or an animation, you have close to nothing to lose, except maybe some time that you've invested. However, the more things you put in, the more you would lose. In comparison, if you're starting a business and invested, let's say, £10,000, dollars, then that's 10,000 you are potentially losing. But if you start a business and put in £100 or dollars or whatever currency you use to test it out, then it's only 100 that you're losing. Meanwhile, potentially you'll be winning big. For example, you start a business, invest 100, and it does well, and you gain back 10,000 or 100,000 or a million potentially. Similarly, you put in a few hours every day into your web novel, your story, and you share it with the world, and you end up lucky, and it resonates with a lot of people and gains 1,000, 100, 100,000, a million, 10 million views, and maybe you get a deal with a company to have that story you've written published professionally, or made into a movie or a Netflix film, a TV show, a K-drama, whatever it is. That small bit of effort you put in amounted to a great outcome. And that's something you can't see in certain other industries that don't have those same opportunities. Not saying one industry is better than the other, but creativity is a pool of opportunity. Creativity exposes us to white swans. It's also reassuring because it means anyone has the potential to create a hit idea, regardless of how long it takes. 10, 20 years, 5 years. The sooner the better for most of us. Even better if we're alive to see it happen. But there is always time, and you never know. It's very hard to predict. This is just something I wanted to talk about after reading that chapter in that book, because I found it really interesting and, I guess, uplifting to know that there is an opportunity for anyone when it comes to creative work. So I do hope that this helped you in some way to push forward with your own work, because reading that chapter definitely helped me push forward